Hello and welcome back to my channel, Do It Yourself Hi-Fi. And this is the episode 2 of my first project with the Open Baffle speaker. So welcome back, and if you like, you can like and subscribe. Alright, let's look at some conclusion of the first episode. The first episode conclusion was that the effective woofer should create bass anyway. The first crossover won't probably work, but let's do it as good as possible. And the third and the last conclusion was that the angle of the speaker corrects the time difference. So let's get into this episode construction and calculating the crossover. Let me show the plan once again. This is my hand-drawn plan, and I tried to do it on FreeCAD, but I have a lot to learn before I will use that excellent program. As you can see in the picture, the woofer is placed in the center and 6 centimeters above the floor. This is to get some extra bass support. The mid and tweeter is placed offset about 2.5 centimeters, about 1 inch to the right, and on the other speaker it will be to the left. I like symmetries. The baffle is in an angle of 7.5 degrees due to my placing in my music room. I sit 3 meters away and my ear is about 90 centimeters above the ground or floor. You can notice that the woofer has an extra baffle for support and to make the distance woofer to ear a bit shorter. And the build. I've already started to do this, and made some mistakes. You can see the cutouts for the tweeter and the mid wasn't really correct, so I had to draw it again. And you see as well that my wings behind the open baffle, it's in the middle of these pictures. You can see that they have no extra bracing, but I did some bracing. You can see it on the right picture, that and I put it inside the wings, not to be shown outside the wings, but perhaps I will do that later on to get some extra bracing. And this is cut out from 15 millimeters pine plywood, and the bracing is therefore extra rigidity and support. I leaned the baffle against the wings to have a look at the final result, and I didn't like it real much, so I stained the wood to look a bit darker, and the woofer's extra baffle I painted black. Perhaps nicer. What do you think? On this side you can see the extra bracing between the wings on the left picture, and on the right picture you've seen that I painted the backside black. It will not be seen anyway, so I made it black. And on this side you can see I cut out holes for the speaker terminals, and I thought that the surface of the front side of the baffle would be even better with some varnish on it, but I was wrong. It became yellowish and dull, but now it's too late. It have to stay on. It's too much work to get it off. And meanwhile I wait for the varnish to dry, I began to construct the crossover. The crossover has some goals. The frequency curve will alter depending on the baffle, and whatever I do, it will be wrong, but let's make it as good as possible. We know that the woofer is more sensitive, but it is good that we let it be in the crossover as well. I use a program that's called Exim that I saw on Toys Do-It-Yourself Audio and Impulse Audio. It is very good, but I can't put the speaker's correct data into it, so I have to think a bit by myself. So let's look at the curves on the driver. The tweeter has a bump in the frequency curve from about 4 kilohertz to 20 kilohertz. So let's take that down a notch, and I will cross it about 2 kilohertz. The mid I cross about 200 to 2000 hertz, and impedance went almost double at 2000 hertz, but I will disregard it for now. And the woofer have a high impedance, but have nevertheless a high sensitivity. The trough at 50 hertz I cannot help. Perhaps the room acoustic will help me a bit there. And it has a crest at 150 hertz, but it usually, the room acoustic usually cancel out that as well. I always get a dip around 150 hertz. So what do I want to do? What's the goal? Well, I want to do a first order crossover. This could be tricky. I want to let the woofer up a bit in sensitivity. I want to cross between 200 and 2000 hertz, and I want to dampen the tweet a bit above 7000 hertz. So when I use this freeware Exim, it's really good, but to use it most efficient, you have to download your data from the speakers into it, but I haven't got this one, so I've done as well as I can without it. The ground is the triangle in this sketch of the crossover, and you have the tweeter on top. The capacitor blocks lower frequencies, and the coil decreases sensitivity on high frequencies. The resistor is therefore decreasing the sensitivity a couple of decibel over all frequencies. The mid, it's in the middle. It has a notch filter, so it lowers frequency lower than 200 and higher than 2000 with the coil then. The resistor is there for decreasing the sensitivity again. And the woofer has only a coil. So what's the result from this? Well, you have to know that this is kind of imaginary, because I haven't got the data, but it's a starting point. You see the black line is the woofer, and it gets real low at 200 hertz, and it's a bit high on the left side, under 200. That's good. The yellow line is the mid, and the red is the tweeter, and it's kind of good. The result seems fine, but it's just theoretical. So we have to measure when the speakers are in the baffle. But this is a starting point. And the last picture is the phase, and it gets under 200 Hertz it gets a bit low, so it's 30 degrees difference between the mid at 200 Hertz and the woofer. So I have to look correct this later on, perhaps. Let's see. So conclusions, episode 2. Open baffle speakers is a easy build, but how do it sound? First order crossover, 30 degrees difference in phase right now. Will this be a problem or not? And the curve when the speakers are in the baffle should look different. Probably, but will it? Thank you for checking in to my channel. This was episode 2 of 3, and I hope you will watch the next episode as well.